evening. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Andrew is away. Tonight, a candid description of Alberta's ICUs from a man who just survived one.
They asked if it comes down to it, do you want to live or die?
Plus, warnings about how much worse things could get. Also tonight, Annamie Paul delivers a sizzling resignation speech.
What I didn't realize at the time is that I was breaking a glass ceiling that was going to fall on my head.
The UK has a gas crisis. Chris Brown explains why.
So a lot of the drivers in this queue are going to be pretty disappointed when they finally get up to the pump.
And up for auction, newly discovered interviews from 50 years ago.
What Beatle music do you look upon as being outstanding?
A Canadian's chats with John Lennon. This is The National. The message is familiar, but for Alberta ICU doctors, it needs repeating, and an open letter underlined their warning. The system is on the verge of collapse. More than 1,000 in hospitals, hundreds on ventilators, nurses running from patient to patient until they're run off their feet. The wave of daily new cases in Alberta for now appears to be cresting, but COVID hospitalizations are already at levels not seen in previous waves. As Aaron Collins explains, a key question now, how little it will take to send the system over the edge and how much more trouble could be coming.
Intimate portraits of a life hanging by a thread, a candid peek inside Bernie Cook's days in a Calgary ICU, time he'd like to forget, but knows he won't.
They asked me if I wanted to be resuscitated. They asked if it comes down to it, do you want to live or die?
Home and on the mend now, Cook says the ICU was full of COVID patients. He recalls one woman who came in as he was getting set to leave.
And I knew she's in for frickin' hell. She's coming in for a journey. And I'm not sure if that's my thoughts going in my head. I'm like, she might not make it.
Similar stories are unfolding in ICUs across Alberta. Overcapacity and under-resourced. Doctors across the province urging the government to act now to prevent a catastrophe.
We are in a position where we're right on the edge of the cliff.
I want to be able to know that there is a bed available for everyone that comes in who's critically ill. And I'm not sure that I can promise that if we continue on the path that we are in Alberta.
Many doctors calling for a so-called firebreak lockdown to slow this fourth wave. Without one, some predict Alberta could need more than 700 ICU beds by December, more than double what's being used today.
Hit the brake as hard as you can, because the best indicator we have right now is hospitals. And the fact that hospitals are overwhelmed, we cannot afford to have more cases arriving to a hospital.
Like most people in Alberta's ICUs, Bernie Cook was unvaccinated when he went in. Well, he's been immunized now and has a message for Albertans who aren't.
Yeah, I mean, get vaccinated. I mean, I would recommend it.
So, Aaron, do we have any sense that the province is even considering a lockdown?
Well, we know Jason Kenney doesn't like the idea. He's made that abundantly clear, but we have to remember that the Premier said this summer that the pandemic was over and that vaccine passports would never come to this province. So the Premier does change his mind, and as pressure mounts here during this fourth wave, it's not inconceivable that, well, he might change his mind again.
All right, Aaron Collins in Calgary tonight. Thank you, Aaron.